Welcome. This is the annual video that we make at the start of the NHL season, talking about the plan. What exactly is the plan of the year? If you're a fan of the Canucks, if you're a fan of the Canadiens or the Red Wings, what can you expect? Now, I may be kind of ruining my reputation here because last year, when we made ourselves the plan video, pretty much everything that I said I wanted to do didn't happen because I said I wanted to do more streams. I wanted to do Red Wing streams and Canadian streams and do a whole bunch of stuff for the Canucks. And for the most part, we did pre-game hype streams for the Vancouver Canucks. We did streams for the Canadiens, and we did a few streams for other teams, but I wasn't able to do anything Detroit because NHL blackouts. I didn't realize that would have been a problem. Even some Montreal games were regionally blacked out over here, specifically the ones against Ottawa. And for the most part, the streams, while they did happen at the start of the season, and then in the playoffs, of course, that's when we did the entire streaming thing. We did streams for most of the games in the playoffs. It kind of died down in, let's say, the halfway-ish mark of the regular season. Now, that's not necessarily because I hate streaming and that I think it sucks, but it's mostly just an evaluation of the time it takes to do streams compared to the output. Now, it has been a very, very clear rise in momentum for this YouTube channel whenever we make streams and whenever we do fan interaction things, and it's awesome to see. I love the support, so thank you so much for sticking around here. But when it comes to the plan for this season, I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown as to how I believe things are going to go down. And I say how I believe because I'm not really too sure if I can commit to everything that I say here. You know, the internet, YouTube, running a channel, this stuff is all free-flowing and nothing is ever set in stone. But when it comes to how I want to do things here for the 2021-2022 season, there's a little bit of a difference compared to previous years. For one, we're kind of going with this 3-video-a-day schedule that I'm trying to uphold for 10 a.m. PDT, 12 p.m. PDT, and 3 p.m. PDT. And this schedule usually revolves around a number of topics ranging from Eastern teams to Western teams. Usually the Western teams get covered in the afternoon because that's a lot more appropriate for the fan base. You know, you have to kind of cater these things to when people are getting out of work or when kids are getting out of school and all that. But when it comes to that schedule, I really like that schedule. And it's one that's been very kind to me because it allows me to say, okay, I'm waking up at 8:30 every day, talking about hockey for 10 a.m., talking about hockey for 12 p.m., and then talking about hockey for 3 p.m. And it's kind of like a shift. It's a shift that I do every day because if you didn't know, YouTubing is my full-time job. This is my self-sufficient income, I guess you could say. And it's gotten to a point where this waking up at 8:30 and finishing up at 3 schedule is very good to me. It allows me to have a lot of free time after work, and it allows me to kind of free my mind, you know, allow myself to step away from the internet and just do whatever else it is that I feel like doing or accomplishing in my life. It's really good having the work to free time balance because there had been days before where I'd just be thinking about videos and thinking about hockey pretty much 24/7. And not to say that that is a bad thing. It's just, you know, when you do this for so long like I have, it gets to a point where you kind of have to say, all right, we kind of have to set some boundaries here because thinking about only one thing for pretty much a week is not really the most mentally sufficient, I guess you could say. So, when it comes to streaming in particular, that's kind of the biggest obstacle in this entire thing, because I've been taking a look at the schedule for the NHL this season, trying to map out, you know, if we could try to fit in a stream here, try to fit in a stream there, and I primarily love streaming the Canadiens games most. Canadiens games, if not playoff games, those are going to be coming later. I think we're going to do playoff streams because those were fun and those were probably the best interaction that we've ever had on the channel. But when it comes to streaming for the Montreal Canadiens, which is probably the best regular season streaming that we could do, it's kind of unfortunate because a lot of these Canadiens games fall on the same days as Canucks games, and sometimes they don't. It's very clear that sometimes they don't. Like Thursday this week, for example, is a Canadiens game, and there isn't a Canucks game, so tomorrow. But The fact is, when there's a Canadiens and a Canucks game, those are the days where I absolutely torture myself the most mentally. I would wake up in the morning, make 2 videos, one for 10 a.m. and one for 12 p.m. Instead of making a video for 3 p.m., we'd start streaming from Montreal X whatever at like 2:30 p.m. PDT. And that stream would go on until the Canadiens game ends up at about 6:30-ish PDT, and then at 7 I'd have to watch the Canucks game and then make a post-game video about that. It would pretty much be an entire day's worth of work for me to keep up with, and doing that a lot last year was not the best, and it definitely wasn't really proper for my mental psyche, so I don't know if we're going to be doing too many streams in the regular season this year, mostly because of scheduling conflicts and as well as the fact that the schedule that I do have already that I've established at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 3 p.m., I've loved this schedule for so much. And plus, there's another aspect that I think is a little bit more, let's just say, not unprofessional, but I guess unprofessional is the right word to say, that the world is starting to open up a lot more now. Restaurants, shopping malls, movie theaters, social gatherings inside houses, they're all allowed now. And here in BC, I don't know if you've been keeping up with this stuff, but like BC has had apparently like some of the most restrictive rules regarding this stuff over the past like year and a half. And because the world is starting to open up a lot more in my little shell of North America, it's given me a lot more opportunities to catch up with some of the people in my personal life that I care about. We've been starting to hang out a little bit more, and it was always really great to be able to say, okay, yeah, I'm free at 3. I'm done making videos for the day at 3. Let's hang out at 4. Let's hang out at 5 or whatever. I don't want to lose that so quickly, because if I would stream for a whole bunch of games this season, like I know some people would ask me if I would be able to, it would really take a good chunk out of my personal post 3 p.m. life, and that to me is something that I value so much, so I would honestly rather take the mental stability and the mental freedom, I guess, than committing myself to doing X amount of streams a week, because that really does take a toll, especially with the video schedule that I already have beforehand. Not to say that we can't do post-game videos, we can't make videos like we did yesterday about the Seattle Kraken and their very first game, just talking about what happened and recapping the big events that occurred in that game. I definitely do think that there's a lot of flexibility here to just talk about whatever, you know? And the 3 p.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m. schedule, we're still probably going to keep that up because there's always big news stories that I think are worth 10-plus minute videos. But whenever there's something cool that happens in a game, or whenever there's something that I notice in a game, or whenever a game for the Canadiens or the Wings or the Canucks or maybe even any team happens, I want to be able to talk about that with the freedom of mind that says, okay, even if we don't talk about this, we're going to be okay. So I guess the plan for this season is kind of to just continue on like how we have done in the entire offseason. Videos in the morning, videos at noon, videos in the evening, and then whatever extra videos sprinkled in there are just going to be, I guess, that's what it is, right? Extras. Even if they're games of my favorite teams, the Canadiens or the Canucks, we're not going to guarantee anything, mostly because if there isn't anything that I feel is worthy to talk about, then I guess we won't talk about it. That's just kind of how I've been going about it the entire last few years, you know? Like, take the Canucks, for example. When they would win hockey games, we could make videos talking about how hype it is that we're winning and that we saw X player score a goal and it was really cool, and that video would get 3, 4, 5,000 views within the first, 2 days. But if they lose, guess what? Canucks fans are coming off of their TVs, they're closing it, they're saying, darn it, screw that team, I don't care about that team, and I'm not going to watch anything about this team. When the Canucks lose, the views on the videos are significantly reduced. It can barely not even crack 1,000 in the first day. And so, to me, it's like, okay, I'm kind of pissed off as well. I don't want to talk about this team too. Do I want to force a crappy video out talking about something that I'm definitely frustrated in seeing and have this video do significantly worse than if they had won and we were all happy and we had been making a video about it then? Is it worth my time to go out there and make a video that I know is not going to do well, or should I just sleep it off, wait till the next day, talk about something else that I know can get a lot more views because, when this is your full-time job, you have to actually prioritize these things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when it comes to the plan for the year, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. regular schedules as usual. Not really too sure how we're going to go about with streams because even just the second preseason game for the Canadiens, where the Canucks had a game as well, that really did kind of spook me in a way where it was like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this, like, for the rest of the year. Making several videos in the morning, doing a stream in the evening, watching another game at night, and then making a post-game video on top of that, that's like a 12-hour workday for me, and I don't know if I want to do that because I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up. But either way, talk to me in the comments. What do you want to see? Are you okay with just short little quick game recaps, you know, big moments that happen around the NHL? We can just give our 2 cents on it because I know that's what everybody on this channel loves to see and get their opinions heard about. Let me know in the comments, what kind of stuff do you want to talk about on this channel, and if this format works for you. I hope you enjoyed this legorocks99, and bye.